And welcome to Red Barn Radio. I'm Brad Becker. This is season 19 of Red Barn Radio, and tonight is show number 705. That's got a good sound to it. Red Barn Radio, roots music, southern style. To keep our staff and our musical guests safe, we will continue to abide by state and local guidelines concerning cleanliness and personal protective equipment. For now, our Wednesday performances will take place without a live in-studio audience. This evening, we bring to the Red Barn stage Wayne Graham, a four-piece band from Whitesburg, Kentucky, whose fans not only in the region but worldwide continue to enjoy every new collection of songs these guys release. We are so happy to have them back with us on Red Barn Radio. Welcome to the Red Barn stage, Wayne Graham.
This one is my new favorite song. I wrote it just for you, and by the time it's done, it'll be your favorite too. This one is my new favorite song. I wrote it with you in mind, in an effort to cancel out those times I was so unkind. It's got drums, it's got bass, and the words are very few. This one is my new favorite song. I wrote it just for you. Short, like Jesus wept, I leave out the heavy hand. The first name in my Rolodex is the subject of this jam.
Thank you.
Welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to the music of Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. Lex Arts, Lexington, Kentucky's Arts Council, creating a great American city inspired by the arts. Chef Greg Scott and Broussard's Delta Kitchen, featuring authentic flavors of New Orleans and the Mississippi Delta on Main Street in historic Georgetown, Kentucky. Broussard's is on Facebook. And AccuPrint, providing printing, design, and fulfillment. Online at accuprint.us. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and hopefully like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
On the Red Barn stage tonight is Wayne Graham. The band was formed in 2010 as a duo between brothers Kenny and Hayden Miles. The band name's a tribute to their two grandpas, Wayne Miles and Graham Kinser. Not only are these guys seasoned performers and talented players, as you'll see and hear tonight, but they're also adept at creating a sound that draws you into the content of their lyrics about place and belief and the puzzling world that we live in. Kenny and Hayden also own and operate their own Fat Baby Studios in Whitesburg, and they're helping other musicians in the region shape their sounds. Wayne Graham has a new release called 1% Juice, and at least a couple of the songs in their set tonight may be performed for the very first time here on Red Barn Radio. Welcome, Wayne Graham.
Thank you, Brad. This song's called Easy Love, and we released it right at the beginning of this pandemic when it didn't feel very easy to love. It's just a gentle reminder that it is. You broke my heart in life, and now you break my heart in death. Wherever you go, there is a place you will find rest, and you call to me from places you have never been. Perusing hard drives I might find you in. Easy love, endless plane. We coincide like a synapse in the brain. What relief to feel again, freckle out like teardrops on the floor. If you could see the time I've wasted, there's no way you could mistake it for something mildly entertaining, just enough to make me famous. And you call to me from places you never were. We die, it seems, just to know how bad it hurts. Easy love, in this rain, we coincide like a synapse in the brain. What relief to feel again, freckled out like teardrops on the floor. Only the poor know what it's like to be rich. They find gold in every alleyway and ditch. Just a thought that hadn't yet occurred, tucked away right behind the optic nerve. Easy love, that's our name. We coincide like a synapse in the brain. What relief to feel again, freckled out like teardrops on the floor. Thank you. That one's always an adventure to try to get through. Also, since my guitar has been sitting more than it's being carried from place to place, it's less willing to stay in tune for me. There we go. This is another song that we released during the pandemic, just as like a throwaway song that we had recorded before, and it seemed appropriate for the time, and it's called What's Your Excuse? When day decides to break, we will raise the stakes and promise more than we ever knew to want. Two flapping wings attached to the same thing. Cock-a-doodle-doo, the oil under your nails, your Bible on the shelf builds a wall between the rich and you. You say that you feel weak every time you try to speak. You're just confused. Long is the road we travel, we're bound to change in minds that tend to come unravel all the time. No one chose to bear the fate of what was fair. Cock-a-doodle-doo, Rome is crumbling in my head. Democracy is dead. What's your excuse? The money that you spend don't buy any friends. What's a little boy like you to do? You say that you feel weak every time you try to speak. You're just confused. Long is the road we travel, we're bound to change in minds that tend to come unravel all the time. Thank you, studio audience. Lee, our guitarist over here, is against the costume change.
Oh, I'm for the costume.
No, you're against it.
No, I made fun of it, didn't I?
Yeah, you made fun of it.
I love it.
Well, it'll be worth
I'd like to announce that this will be the first time that Wayne Graham has performed with Kenny on the electric guitar.
it. In a
So
long
it's-
time,
so
at
it's-
least.
Well, yeah, since I've been in the band, so
Yeah.
not ever, but I'm wrong.
But years.
Anyway, so we're
It's been years, yeah.
Costume change. Yeah.
We'll see if it sticks.
Yeah.
It's like to change it up, do different things. I think it's great you want to do it.
All right. what you do when you're gone. You're not the only one. And if I'm listless and I get nothing done, you're not the only one. Knock down another one. Joy, when did you lock the door? There's a key on the floor. How did you come between me and everything? Joy. Frustration that comes with your love. You're not the only one. And if you made it, then I think you missed up. Knock down another one. Go on and knock down another one. Joy, when did you lock the door? There's a key on the floor. How did you come between me and everything? Joy, joy. All right, we're trying to not do too many songs that we recorded the last time we were here, even though that was a while ago now, and we're bound to sound a little different. But I think this is one that we left out last time. It's called Flower Store. The flower store is going out of business. They used to sell out of roses every day. Now they deal in plastics, fake wreaths and woven baskets. And the mourners come to decorate the graves. And love becomes too easy to explain. I can't say I ever gave them business. You always said flowers were a waste. They start out pretty, but fade away too quickly. And money's better spent when something stays. And love becomes too easy to explain. They're selling half the price for half a dozen. I wondered if I should buy you a bouquet. When I thought about it, you're beautiful without it. And it would take so many flowers just to say you get so much brighter every day. Our love isn't easy to explain.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you with us here for another Red Barn radio program. Our guest tonight is Wayne Graham. They are from Whitesburg, Kentucky, and they have just recently released their newest collection of songs called 1% Juice. And this is not all they've been doing since we saw them last. They've released a lot of music, and so if you like what you're hearing tonight, just go out there and hunt it down. There's a ton to listen to, and we're going to talk about a lot of that tonight. Kenny, great to see you. Great to see you, Hayden, Chris, Lee. Why don't we go back to pre-2010, before the band formed, at least formally, Kenny. Did you end up doing college after high school? I don't remember if we ever talked about that.
No, not right away, at least. I went to recording school for 32 weeks in Lexington, actually, when I graduated. And then my parents were cool enough to get some recording gear after that and like sort of turn the basement into a studio that we've been sort of building out ever since. But that was how I spent the first bit. And then when I finished engineering school, I went to the local community college for like a semester, and then I dropped out.
So audio engineering.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
And did you also spent some time in Nashville, I think you told me.
Yeah. When I met my wife in 2015, we moved down there together and lived for a couple of years. Lived in Knoxville, and then just moved back a few years ago. And it's a little easier to make records now that we're back.
What did you go to? Did you say Knoxville or Nashville?
We went to Nashville first and then to Knoxville.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you do in Nashville, and why did you end up going there?
I went there because I thought I might be able to get a job as an engineer. But those are sort of hard to come by. And also the people who get those jobs are much more serious about being an engineer than I was ever about being an engineer. I wanted to make records, but not really be the person to press record all the time. I wanted to be a part of it, but not for the engineering not to be my only duty. I wanted to have my hand in all of the different categories, I guess, when recording.
Yeah, right.
But I ended up working a lot as a breakfast cook in Nashville, at a grocery store and a barbecue place. So I had a lot of jobs like that.
So Hayden, what were you doing during that time? When Kenny was out discovering sort of where he wanted to go?
I was
living with my parents, which I still am doing to this day. Actually, when he was in Nashville is when I really feel like I started playing the early stages of this music scene that we know today in Kentucky and like West Virginia. That first year he moved down there was the first time I'd played Huntington and started meeting a lot of people that I know in this music scene today.
Yeah.
And that was all thanks to Dave and Teresa Prince, because I was playing with them at the time and they would take me everywhere. And if you're with them, you're automatically like musical royalty, whether you can even play or not. So riding up with them in like their car and just coming out, people would automatically act like or think they knew you. So that was sort of my introduction to the scene, was those years he was away.
Gotcha. And yeah, and folks who have seen our program before and listened to us before know that David Prince is laid-back country picker, lives out there in the Ashland area, also a school teacher. So we've had a lot of fun talking about school teaching over the years. And so then once you were reunited back in Whitesburg, then is that about the time around 2016, 17 when you had an opportunity to meet some players from Europe?
That was sort of just after I moved to Nashville. We were on a small record label from Bristol previously, and the last show they booked for us was in Louisville with a few bands from the U.S. and then one band from Germany. And the band from Germany turned out to be, the lead singer has a record label in Dresden. So we played together and got to know each other a bit, and then they offered to release our next record. And Hayden and I had been working on finishing a record, so we had one to deliver, and that was Mexico, and they released that over there.
And so when they made that offer, did you feel at that point in time when they made that offer that you were familiar with each other musically and you felt like they were going to deliver what you do to an audience that would be interested?
I think I was sort of convinced of that because not very many people had ever sort of pulled us aside and said that they liked it. You know, I mean, we knew that people enjoyed seeing us play from time to time, but it wasn't really anything convincing us that it was anything special. But when they liked it, and we also liked what they did on stage, it sort of seemed like a good fit. Also, the lead singer of that band was playing the same guitar, like we owned the same guitar, so that was sort of kismet and
Yeah, right.
convinced us.
And what was the name of that band?
The Gentle Lurch.
The Gentle Lurch.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then you ended up going over to Germany, right? Tell us that story.
So Hayden and I and my wife went to Germany 2 or 3 times.
I think 3?
Yeah, we went 3 times and just toured as a 2-piece over there. We played a couple of festivals with some musicians that were in the Gentle Lurch that joined us for like some more high-profile festivals before we had a full band. And then after we released the record in Germany and toured over there, it was sort of easier for us to book shows in Kentucky. And that's when we met. Well, Hayden had been playing with Chris for a while with Sean Whiting, and so Chris started playing with us, and then later Lee started playing with us. And then they went back with us twice since then. 3 times, okay. Twice last year, and then the year before they went with us.
So I'm really curious about that. Then it was releasing music in Europe that somehow validated what you do here in some strange way.
Yeah, it seemed to a little bit.
Or just got people's attention.
Yeah, right. It gave us it set us apart a little bit. I think
Yeah.
the fact that we had been to Germany, so it helped us out a lot.
And then talk about some of the collaborations you've done with folks over there since that time, like recently, in fact, right?
Yeah, we released an EP earlier this year with a band called the Green Apple Sea, who are also on the record label. And we recorded that in Nuremberg the last time we were there, last August, I guess. And we all took a train down from Dresden to Nuremberg for the day and recorded at Lone Star Studios there, which is just this beautiful studio in an old GDR era building, stone building. And yeah, it was just a long day of recording, and then we had 4 songs at the end of it.
Huh. Wow, neat. And so in the course of playing music with some of those folks who maybe have some different sort of musical sensibilities than you guys have, did that open you up as musicians to think about different sounds and different directions to go with your music?
Yeah, I think so. What do you think, Hayden?
Yeah, it's actually our musical sensibilities seem to be more common with a lot of our German friends, like a lot of country fans, a lot of just straight rock and roll fans. And going over there, a lot of the bands sing in English, and it sounds like country music, sounds like Americana music. They're fans, and they're listening to like Jason Isbell and Sturgill Simpson and Tyler, all these people that they are aware of and like fans of. And so it's weird how it bleeds over there, but yeah, it's more similar than different in a lot of ways.
And tell us about the piece that you did, the album that you did with Green Apple Sea, right? Tell us about that album, and for folks who may not have had a chance to hear any of that online yet.
Yeah, Stefan is the lead singer of the Green Apple Sea, and he had written a song that the working title was "Satan is My Father," and he sent it to me and asked me to write a verse for it, and then said to prepare one of our songs that we'd be willing to record over there, and then he was going to pick out a few covers for us to try. So I think we started on our song, "Runnin'," which I couldn't remember the lyrics for while we were over there. I had to send him a vocal track later, but like I don't think Chris and Lee had ever played the song either, and we just recorded it live really quick, and then they started to layer things on top of it. Vushi is the recording engineer over there, and he added some cool like baritone stuff to it. Everybody's pretty open to whatever you want to try. They all have like they like including oohs and like pretty intense harmonies. Lena is one of the background singers for the Green Apple Sea, and she's just really good at doing harmonies. So they're really good at arranging all of that.
And talk about the recording spaces that you worked in over there. You mentioned one. Was East or West Germany?
It was East Germany.
Yeah.
It was. So there was a control room, and then a small kitchen, and then you went downstairs, and there was a smaller vocal booth, and then a live room. But it was just sort of a maze, and I felt sorry for the engineer because every time he had to change anything, he had to run downstairs and adjust the mic and come back up and listen to it and see how it sounded and run back down again. But it was conducive to knocking a lot of songs out in one day. It was an easy space to record in.
So you guys have a studio of your own, Fat Baby Studios, and that's business is developing a lot for you guys.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And I'd love to talk with you more maybe in when we get back to a conversation a little bit later about sort of what you've learned over the course of recent years about recording and how you're growing and learning in that art. Hayden, I'd love to hear you talk about how the different roles that you guys play in the studio. I would love to hear you talk about how you communicate with drummers, especially in the studio, because you're such an amazing player. Folks, I'm with Wayne Graham They're here on Red Barn Radio tonight. We're going to get back to some more conversation in a while, but let's get back to more music with them right now. Welcome back, Wayne Graham.
Less than familiar, more than strange. That's how it feels to me. The things that a man will do to ease his pain, more than most would believe. Got me running all around, got me running, running all around, got me running all around, got me running. Things are too easy to ever be good again. That's how it feels to me. When every other person that looks you in the eye has never really been seen. Running all around, got me running all around, got me running, running all around, got me running all around, got me running. If you ever wanna get it, you've got to lose it all. That's how it feels to me. When good old Angel Gabriel blows his ancient power, that's when I find me be free. Running all around, got me running all around, got me running, running all around, got me running all around, got me running, running all around, got me running all around, got me running. Thank you. Hypnotized by your eyes. If I was a dead man, I wouldn't be surprised. My throne Don't you want to come and join me on my throne? I'm better off than I deserve, full of war, but I never had to serve my throne. Don't you want to come and join me on my throne? Darker days are yet to come. The sun was never meant to shine on everyone on my throne. Don't you want to come and join me on my throne? It's lonely on my throne. It's lonely on my throne. I'm in one of those moods again, one of those moods where I try to pretend that I'm able, but I'm not able. I'm back to feeling dangerous, and you shouldn't trust anything I say. Just walk away. I'm a hurricane and an earthquake, a five-storm all in one. Hey, baby, what have I done? Ooh, baby, what have I done? Guess you should expect this behavior. You lean on your friends and watching out for your neighbors. So you got me locked away, and I'm lost. You've got your bags all packed up, got a room at the I'm a hurricane and an earthquake, a firestorm all in one. Hey, baby, what have I done? Ooh, baby, what have I done? Hey, baby, what have I done?
Hey, we're glad you can be with us this evening on Red Barn Radio. We're doing a show tonight with Wayne Graham, and what a show it is. I want to tell you about next week or next time, I guess, on Red Barn Radio, we welcome Abby Hamilton. Abby is a Kentucky-born and raised singer-songwriter with an ironic and sincere lyrical perspective. There's a quiet power in her performance that quickly grows up to a roar. You'll enjoy the way her storytelling guides you through hilarious tales of life in the working class and, of course, good old country heartbreak. Be sure to join us online next time for Abby Hamilton. Check out our social media for updates on this upcoming streamed performance. Red Barn Radio, it's roots music, Southern style. Now on with tonight's Red Barn Radio program. Red Barn Radio is coming to you live on all of our social media platforms from the Art Place Performance Hall here in the city of Lexington, Kentucky. And now, folks, please welcome back Wayne Graham to the Red Barn stage.
Like the wolf outside, we are led by desire. We are ruled by the town we've lost. Like the steps to the door of the killing room floor, they knock, but they can't get in. When the money's all gone and the cattle go home, no one but you can understand. Every promise gets broke, every word gets spoken, and you are your fellow man. Here we come, let us see. We've got sand on our feet. Let us bless the wine and bread. There are freaks, there are fools, they are kind and they are cruel. They knock, but they can't get in. When the money's all gone and the cattle go home, no one but you can understand. Every promise gets broke, every word gets spoken, and you are your fellow man. you feel, old man? Thank you. There's a white rose hanging on my wall, been sharp to sheetrock, cold as snow. If I didn't find you, I would never know. There's a white rose hanging on my wall, bottle caps rest easy on the lawn. Single cigarettes smoldering still. If I didn't find you, I wouldn't have the will. Bottle caps rest easy on the lawn. There's a book that reads me on the shelf, while machines are slowly passing by. If I never knew you, I wouldn't find out why. There's a book that reads me on the shelf. No one else, no one else, no one else, no one else. There's something creeping up the steps, amazed and dazed by heavy lungs. If I didn't find you, what would I become? There's something creeping up the steps. There's a book that reads me on the shelf. Bottle caps rest easy on the lawn. There's a white white rose hanging on my wall. It was in your bloodstream on the day you died, till they replaced it with formaldehyde. You can't hide from it, and neither could I. Easy on the resting eyes, rest your soul. Leaving like a bird flies south when it snows. Every lie I believed was a lie I told. What do you know? I was intrigued by the way you played, with a foot on the altar and a foot in the grave. You can't hide from it, and neither could I. On the resting eyes, rest your soul. Make your way on down to Mexico. Never told you a thing you didn't know. What do you know? On the resting eye, easy on the resting eye.
Hey, we're with Wayne Graham this evening on Red Barn Radio, and Wayne Graham is Kenny Miles, who is singing lead vocals and playing acoustic guitar. Hayden Miles, his brother, is back on the drums. Chris Justice is on bass, and then Lee Owen on lead guitar over there. Great to have you guys with us.
Good to be back.
Yeah, so let's get back to Fat Baby Studio, because there are a lot of questions I have about what goes on there and sort of that whole process of helping artists find their sound. I guess that's something you have an opportunity to do sometimes, but not necessarily all the time when you have a recording project. Is that right?
Right, yeah. It sort of depends on how involved the people I'm recording want me to be, or Hayden to be. Sometimes Hayden and I play on the record and sort of not advise, but sort of offer our opinion along the way. And other times, it's just a totally, they have their own band, and we just hit record and give them the files at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay, so a guy's got a band, he's the lead guitarist, and he wants to make an album. He really loves the album that Laid Back Country Picker made with you. And so he figures, well, I should do that at the same studio that Laid Back Country Picker did his music at. how does that begin? Does it begin with a meeting? Do they contact you and you say, hey, send us some of your music so we can get a sense of what you do? How does it begin? How does the project begin?
So far, luckily, we sort of plan recording sessions, or up until the pandemic, I would run into a band at a show that we knew, we were acquaintances with, and we knew how they sounded live, sort of their essence, and like maybe I already had an idea of like how I would go about capturing that about them, but they probably have their own, expectations in mind on what it would take to capture their sound. So yeah, like maybe a phone call or a discussion, a conversation. A lot of times it's like low budget projects. There aren't a lot of there isn't a lot of second guessing going on. So like you just make a decision after you hear the song. You sort of we'll sort of pick things out that we like about it and enhance those, or draw them out and then record it and listen back. It's just a trial and error process.
How many opportunities have you had to work with musicians for their very first time in a studio?
A lot of the people we've recorded, I would say, were there for the first time. I always feel very grateful to people who have recorded in a major studio, like a big studio, that come to our studio anyway, even though it's just in a basement. They seem to have a level of comfort there. It's like a low pressure environment and just a cozy atmosphere. So it's sort of easy to just relax and play.
So when folks are coming into a studio setting for the very first time, what are some kind of things that you feel you're going to need to say to folks often when they're doing their first recording, Hayden? What are some of the conversations that are kind of common?
I don't know if I've ever had any of those conversations. I know what I would like to say.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm after. Yeah.
It's better if you have no expectations than if you come in having expectations. It's usually going to be a lot different than what you imagined.
Different how?
Sometimes if you write a song, you can have this idea of what it's going to sound like. It's going to sound similar to this other song that you like, or it's going to sound big and lush or something, and you come in, and in some cases there's only so much we can do. But in other cases it doesn't need to sound like those other things. It's probably better if it doesn't sound like those things. It's probably better if you try to distance yourself from your own influences or songs that you like. So I think it's better to come in ready to, if you do have expectations, to sort of have those expectations pushed away a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about instrument specific? I really am curious to know what kind of things that you would like to say to some of the drummers that maybe you've worked with or might work with in the future.
I sort of go by the deader the better. That's why I have these bandanas on the heads here, and sometimes drummers have them wide open. Some drummers know how to get their set sounding right and stuff, but I've had the opportunity, if people set their drums up in the studio to record for like a weekend or something, and nobody else is home, I've had the opportunity to go down there and play on other drummers' sets before. And it's interesting. I don't know. There's nothing I could really say to another drummer. Every drummer is different. Like every drummer's set's different, and what they're comfortable with, they're comfortable with. What they like, what sounds they like, they like. So I don't know. I never really give drummers my opinion about their sets or anything, because usually they're so familiar with their own set or whatever that they've got it where they want it. And
well, they've got it where they want it for performing, right? But
right,
the studio experience, like you say, is going to be
sometimes, yeah, it's not the same as it is like a live show. So I have a bunch of different snare drums and stuff in the studio, that are up for grabs if anybody wants to use them for a song and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think people just sort of stick with what they know, stick with the gear they know, because also every drum is different. So it really takes some fine-tuning sometimes, like to work the sound of the drum to get it where you like it before you start recording a song. But usually they'll just stick to their own stuff, and sometimes they'll use some of my stuff, but that's not very often.
Hey, given the way the music industry has gone, where performing is where money is made, how do you steer? Would you be inclined to steer people recording into a place where they can, in some ways, duplicate what they record in the studio with their stage performance? Yeah, I ask that of you guys because you do so much interesting sonic stuff in your own recordings, and both of you I know are really into that and create this magic that happens in your studio recordings. And do you ever think about, well, are we going to be able to duplicate that in our performance?
All the time.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
In some ways, I think it's better to sort of separate those things for us to be able to play more freely live rather than being sort of constrained to what the recordings sound like.
Sure.
In other ways, we do want to get it sounding like the recording, and but we add layers all the time. It's super enjoyable. That's one of our favorite things about recording is like you can make it anything. And with all kinds of layers and stuff, you can just make it sound like anything you want to, and really interesting, really creative stuff. And it's definitely hard to duplicate that live. But
for this record, Lee is he's in the process of setting up his rig to trigger certain important sonic elements of the new record. So hopefully we'll be like at least a little closer to achieving that live.
Yeah, is that new territory for you, Lee?
Actually, I got my first Roland guitar synthesizer in 1991. And so I had one of the early ones of those and then two other Roland synthesizers later. And nowadays I'm dealing with it through iOS because all of the keyboard manufacturers, you can go on your phone. So basically just take another guitar line to the phone and it becomes the whole world of synths. So we had a practice recently and I play a lot of electric piano. As you say, the album has a different feel and they have a lot of keyboard parts. And as you can see, we have no keyboard player here. So I've been sort of thinking, hey, I've got guitar synths, so I could play some of those keyboard parts. And so we're sort of working towards that for some of the new material. There still needs to be guitar, but it opens up different textures without having another person. And then he's got lots of samples and little sounds he likes to trigger in his deal. And I sort of said, I can assign them on a button in my little rig and trigger them. And so we hope to layer in some of the album lushness, for lack of a better word. His albums are very lush. I always tell people that. They sound great. But it is different than what we do live. And so I'm sort of trying to pick up some of those pieces because I'm a tech nerd and can. And we'll just have to see the balance of how well that works. But it's fun to sort of have this live band and then have the records that the brothers make and try to just walk the line in the middle and see where it lands.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys, let's talk about videos. You guys also like to make videos. And I'm thinking in particular right now about Infinitude. And that particular video just struck me. Are you proud of that video?
It was fun to make. Like, it always feels like a real chore when it comes down to it. It's like the label asks for videos for each single, and because there aren't a lot of funds to pay for videos to be made, we always try to just do the best with what we have. And I feel like that one came out a little better than our others. And a lot of that had to do with just it being in a beautiful setting. That's the church that Hayden and I grew up in.
I was wondering about that.
For a time in Whitesburg, First Baptist Church of Whitesburg. And the pastor there was really kind. He was kind enough to let us come in during a pandemic and shoot the video there during the day when no one else was there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so what was interesting on that video, if maybe we can get into a little sort of scriptural exegesis here, talking about your lyrics. So it's got the line, "My father's house has many rooms," and that I was talking to you earlier, wondering like where's that tune come from? I might have told you I called my mother, who has this sort of encyclopedic knowledge of hymns, and I asked her like, well, what is this? And I sort of sang it to her. She says, no, I don't know if I really know that. And I said, well, here are some of the words, and she goes. He said rooms, and she said it's supposed to be mansions. In my father's house there are many mansions. I said, oh, really? Well, what's and so we got we got knocking around this idea about like, I wonder what these brothers are doing. I said their dad was a minister. I said so they think about these things, and you guys have a lot of those kinds of sort of ideas running through a lot of your tunes. And when I think about some of the things you've said about the way you and Hayden work together and maybe the different places you guys are at in your journey, I was wondering sort of where that lyric came from, that idea that in my father's house there are many rooms.
Well, it's definitely a reference to Scripture. Do you know which verse that is, Hayden?
No.
Okay, I don't either.
I do. It's John.
Okay.
John 4:2, I think. And I only know that because I looked it up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, when I wrote that, I was thinking of Hayden in my parents' house because he's sort of this picture of spirituality to me. Like he embodies that in a sort of effortless way. And so I was thinking about him sitting in the house. My father's house has many rooms, and he's like meditating on ancient words so that his heart won't be disturbed. Like that's sort of the gist of it. And it was a nice exercise for me to imagine my brother just in a peaceful place in my parents' house. And I wanted to write a song that started from that place and then sort of branched out as each verse goes on. It sort of gets broader and references infinity and divinity and choosing to face whatever extreme, strange thing life is, because what other choice do we have? I guess.
Well, I really like the image. I like the idea that if you think of it as heaven, right? That the idea that heaven has a lot of different places. It's an accommodating place versus a place that turns people away at the door. So that's nice. Hey, talk quickly about how sort of this involuntary solitude of recent months has worked for you guys. Lee, it was so great to hear you in warm up, just wailing away on your instrument like you had found an old friend again. And is that how all of you are feeling about sort of that prospect that you can maybe get out and do something like this and play out again and have an audience paying attention? We have a great audience online tonight.
Yeah, some guy thinks it's a hoax, but
this is not a hoax.
No, we're here, man. I can attest to that.
Is it good for you guys to start thinking about getting out again and playing? It's got to be.
I mean, we're all ready to be playing. It's sort of what we all really like to do, and obviously the situation is still what it is, so we're all navigating as best we can in our own way, but we were excited for an event like this. I get to plug in and play loud in a big room. That's why I sort of played up until we broadcast today, because I get to play, and so we all enjoy that. And these two live in a studio, so I think they probably get to make noise a lot. I'm in an apartment. This is a big treat.
Yeah, well, this has been, I can't tell you what a blessing it is for Red Barn staff that we have been able to continue this over time. We're blessed with a big room and with a group of people. We all enjoy being together and enjoy an opportunity to provide people with a chance to sort of stay visible. And it's just so great to have you guys here tonight. I could talk with you forever, but we got to get back to some music. We got Wayne Graham with us tonight, folks, on Red Barn Radio, and there's more music to come. So welcome back, Wayne Graham.
My father's house has many rooms. I never leave to avoid gloom. I meditate on ancient words so that my heart won't be disturbed. Infinity is in my blood. The death of tides, the final flood. I don't reside within my frame. We are unique, we are the same. Beneath the sky, over the hills, eternity is standing still. Death is just another word for love. Always too much or not enough. I choose to live and not to die, to wrestle with your restless stride. The place we go but rarely see, inside of you, inside of me. One. One. Oh, sorry, slept alone. My bad. Okay. 1, 2, Gonna be a scoundrel, gonna be a fool. Should have done more fishing, should have stayed in school. Don't go feeling sorry for the trees when they turn. There's a time when the odds may overcome you. There will always be a place for you to run to. Waiting in the shadows, waiting in the shade, waiting for the day you start to act your age. Don't go quiet in the dawning of the age of the end. There's a time when the future may outrun you. There will always be a place for you to run to. Try to fall asleep while the grass gets wet. All the nights that you slept alone. Bottom's always blooming, feeding all the bugs deep within the sockets and underneath the rugs. Don't forget you're a person and that's all you'll ever be. Nobody else knows how to become you. There will always be a place for you to run to. Try to fall asleep while the grass gets wet. All the nights that you slept alone. To everyone who has said nice things on the comments, thank you. It's good to see all of you. We just have a couple of more, and Hayden's going to sing the next one.
This is the latest song we've released for this upcoming album called Some Days. And it's a high song, so I hope I can sing all of it. I had cheese pizza a little while ago. And I also hope I remember all the words. So here we go.
The true nature of your sometimes love can hurt the most. And some days you have to travel down the road you don't want to go. They can't see the way that I want to free them from the wages of sin and fear and death. It's okay, I love you anyway. You no longer have to say I do not know this man. People die while you get old. Winter comes and it gets cold, and sometimes love can hurt the most. And some days you have to travel down the road you don't want to go. I found you naked and ashamed, working hard for your living without a penny to your name. Nothing you do could ever change the way that I love you. The rock you will remain. People die while you get old. Winter comes and it gets cold, and sometimes love can hurt the most. And some days you have to travel down the road you don't want to go. And some days you have to travel down the road you don't want to go.
We would like to thank Wayne Graham for being with us this evening on Red Barn Radio. We also thank our volunteers and staff for their help in making our production happen each and every week. Thank you all for listening to our webcast. Great to have you all here tonight, watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and those listening to us on the Red Barn network of stations. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. It's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio, Roots Music, Southern Style, and WEKU. Red Barn Radio comes to you from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Our website has updates and further information on our guests and our program. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. And now, once again, folks, please give it up for Wayne Graham here on the Red Barn stage.
Fell in love with my barber, got derailed in Ann Arbor. By and by, I slipped through the Sunday service. Holy smokes, man, I get nervous. By and by, by and by, I think I want a ticket on a very fast train where the air never smells like break doors. Why do strangers send you flowers? How they know I love it sour. By and by, by and by, talk over dinner by and by. By and by. You lived a string of coincidences. You sleep so sound now, you're defenseless. By and by. By and by. I think I want a ticket on a very fast train where the air never smells like bacon. If you think it, you'll become it. Just ask anyone who's done it. By and by. By and by. I think I want a ticket on a very fast train where the air never smells like bacon. By and by. By and by. By and by. By and by.
All right.
Thank you guys for having us again. It was great.
Well, that's all from Red Barn Radio for tonight. You can see and hear us worldwide every week as we stream live on the web, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern in North America on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Be sure to check out all of our social media for all updates to our upcoming schedule. And now from all of us here at Red Barn Radio to all of our friends worldwide, it's our hope that you have a great week. Keep working together to be safe and healthy. And until next time, good night.